Welcome back. Well, stakeholders in eSwatini have agreed to have a national dialogue following pro-democracy unrest in the country. The delegates sent to eSwatini by President Cyril Ramaphosa held talks with King Mswati III on Friday. According to the official death toll, 28 people have died since the unrest began in eSwatini earlier this year. So for more on this, I'm joined now by Adv Sipho Mantula from Unrest. Advocate, always a pleasure speaking to you. Good afternoon. I think there was a lot of skepticism when the President Cyril Ramaphosa decided to send the special envoy to eSwatini, saying what outcome could possibly be held from this, because as you know, the SADC region has been quite quiet when it comes to the developments in eSwatini for some time now. A deafening silence, many might say. So by saying that there's an agreement to host this national dialogue, should we be optimistic this time around?
Evening, Faith, and even to the viewers, I think we should be, despite that if you look at the social media or other channels, people are still angry and said that SADC was able to just pen down the 5 bullet points about this meeting of minds that happened on Thursday and Friday, that there was a proper consultation. But remember that even in the first fact-finding mission, the issue of the national dialogue was there on the tongue of mediators. I think one thing that we are not doing correct in most of our African conflicts, we have mediators who comes as consultants. They come as helicopters. They are being parachuted. They go out quickly. They don't observe that moment of human rights. Remember that Eswatini, when it was burning on Thursday, Africa was reflecting on the human rights issues. And if you look, the media was being censored, social media was being shut down, the schools were being closed. So if you look, violations of human rights have occurred. But for now, for us to be optimistic about this Troika mission, I think we should give the Troika benefit of doubt. But I think the citizens and the ordinary people in Eswatini, they might not be happy, because this dialogue will only come after the cultural ritual. Remember that the king have pushed that the dialogue will only happen after the eNCA ceremony.
But then in that sense, does it not seem a little bit disingenuous? So you are wanting to continue with a cultural ritual. Yeah. You have shut down schools. You have got soldiers that are on the ground. People are being killed. There is unrest and a call that is growing louder and louder for democracy. And yet you say, I will hear you out, but I will hear you out at my time. Is that not a little bit disingenuous?
Partly so, but Faith, what he has said is that because of the current tensions, emotions running high, it might not be proper to engage at this point, as others will say that both are coming from insulting zones, so they need to find a common goal. But I fully agree with you that the moment of the national dialogue, this moment of national intervention or regional intervention will be to engage with all political parties that have been banned for many years, the unions, the young people, because I think with the national dialogue and the cultural ceremony, he could have thought them both rather to go on a healing and cleansing and engage on issues of political reforms, because one can see that the monarchy is having authoritative power, and they are not looking at that the signs of time and the change of the winds are moving in the SADC region in terms of democratization projects. So I think the king has to be very clear that he needs to listen to the people on the ground. What is the winds of the wind going? Where is the waves of the sea going to?
Yeah, but then surely, Advocate, he can certainly make the decision to dig in his heels and say, I do not care what it will take. I will not leave this monarchy. Because, when we look at the Kingdom of Eswatini, right, it is the last standing absolute monarchy on the African continent, which comes with its own benefits of power, money, influence, and the like. So he could decide then, if I do not want, for my own safety, for my family's safety, and for those family safeties, I do not want to lose this power. I want to dig in my heels. And in that time, what option is there for the people of Eswatini?
Correctly, Faith, what you are saying, that people will always want to safeguard their interest. We can take a template from Lesotho, where you've got both the king and the prime minister who are elected by the population of that country. I think the electoral system of Eswatini, Faith, is one of the issues that is at the core as well. that the issue of him selecting rather than allowing citizens to elect has been at the core of this challenge. And like you are raising, the key issue is that even in this national dialogue, we need to allow regional mediators who can facilitate. And the language of the royal family against protesters, again, it is something that is coming time and again, and it is bringing this unity amongst both parties. And I think it is very critical for the king to understand that Africa is going through democratization project. There is issues of electoral reforms. There's issues even around governance. How does the king deal with his administration? Because this is a challenge that they are facing in terms of poverty, in terms of corruption, and there is even denial on that when we know very well that there was a lavish of cars that were bought at some point. And that's where I think political intervention of SADC should not be like a helicopter thinking. It should be very consistent, and they should consult all parties. But when I read at that spirit and the letter of that SADC Troika, it seems that there was engagement with all parties. Hence, there is this consensus on the national dialogue. And I think me and you, we are saying that this national dialogue should not be delayed. It should be immediate and urgent.
All right, very quickly, Advocate, does SADC have any teeth, really?
I think so, unless the young people like me and you, Faith, we are always keeping pressure on them. You know, I think our elders never to give up on them, just like the AU. I think SADC are not learning from the ECOWAS template. I thought they would have thought that, why don't we suspend eSwatini from SADC engagement? Why don't we call for the release of those who have been arrested? Why don't we even talk about restraint of the use of force? Because they are just talking about calm and peace, but they are not warning the use of force that is maximum used by the police. So me and you, Faith, I can say to you, we need to keep pressure on these elders every time, every moment when we have the opportunity to remind them that Africa is growing with the young minds, and the young people, they are thirsty for change.
Adv Sipho Mantula, we'll leave it there for this evening. Thank you so much for your time.